Okay, so now something interesting happens where we actually have a group of trees. So we have a list of trees, but right now the list of trees is not defined as a list. It's actually defined just as kind of calling the same thing over and over again with different parameters. So as soon as you have a list of values or variables, then you can actually group it together, and you do that by saying tree positions, and I'm just gonna turn off auto refresh because we're gonna do a lot. And the first thing we're gonna do is just to make an empty list. So this is like a spreadsheet or something where you have a lot of lists. It can be names like you have employees at a company, Peter, Anders, Lisa, Kirsten, whatever, you know, and you have this list of people. In this case, we're just gonna use trees. And now we have this list, but it doesn't have any trees in it. And then we can actually start to do something here, which is also a little bit advanced, which is what the JavaScript can do, is that you can say dot push. That means add something to the list, push something on the stack of the list, and then we can actually give it a x and a y coordinate here. So we are gonna actually do it like this is how you do it in JavaScript, where you say, okay, I want to add a tree, and the first tree we had to put in position 300 and 150. So I'm gonna add 300 and 150, and then I'm gonna say y, and then do like that. So notice how we're using curly brackets inside a push statement. Now it's getting a little bit complex. And then we can actually replicate this quite a lot and do multiple of them. So now we have a list of trees. That one is 150 as well, good. And then the last one is 190 and 250. All right, so now we have a bunch of trees here. And we can use this list to actually generate the trees. So instead of repeating draw tree, draw tree, draw tree, we can use the same thing as we did with the apples. We can make a for loop to kind of run through the list and draw all the trees. So what I can do now is I can say, as long as we start with the variable I, and then we say I should be less, and then how long should it be? Well, it should be less than the tree positions dot length, because that defines how many trees we have. It's the length of the list. So if it wants me to allow me to actually do this length, and then this last thing we need to do is just to say +1 over here. So here we have +1, so the last parameter is I equals I +1, the increment 1. And then we're gonna do this. And for each item in the list, we're then gonna print it. And then we're gonna dot x for the x value and dot y for the y value. Whoops, that was wrong. Should be I there. You can always press enter like this if you kind of have not enough space, but we're gonna do this and then move it a bit over. It's okay, you can still see it. Good, so now we have the tree position I.x to get the x value we added up here for each of these, and we have the y position for each of them as well. So when I press run here, I'm crossing my fingers that something happens, and we have a failure. So the question is, what went wrong here? Let me just try to do this and dot print and see what it says. So this is kind of stuff like this happens. So we get nothing. I should be less than 3%. So why are we not getting anything? Let's just do this and see what happens. Okay, for y I equals 0, I is less than 3 position dot length. Okay, we're gonna test if 3 positions dot length. How long is that one? Run it. It's 3, so that's right. What did I forget? So I should be less than 3 positions dot length. For y equals that. I equals I plus 1 is also correct. Why is it complaining about that? What did I do wrong? Anybody who have already spotted it before me? So sometimes you get stuck like this. This is totally common, and also what you will experience quite a lot until you figure it out. So we are just gonna see, is there anything here that looks right? Tree positions, did I spell it right? And length, and up here I said, where is it, the function? Oh, I removed it, okay. But tree positions dot length. Oh, was that the spelling error? Oh, it was. So yeah, that's, you know, a classic example of where you're stuck. Like there's a small spelling error somewhere, and it's actually making you quite frustrated. But now it's working. We are actually making our trees. So now we have a list of trees we can place somewhere. So we have pushed these in here, and we can then add another one if we want to and give it another position. This one I want to be a 300 position, and then let's see what happens. So now we have another tree there. So in that sense, I can then add it to the list up here by using the push, given an X and Y coordinate, and down here I can then take out the X and Y coordinate, and then I have our tree forest here. Good, so that is what lists are. They can be, you can push them and you can pop them and you can all sorts of things. Pop them can take something off as well, so you move something from the list. But this is kind of the basic kind of premise of how to use list in JavaScript. So you can read more on the web page about the features.